really excited to be here in Eugene and, work with Coach Cristobal and an outstanding staff. To get this opportunity to be I think one of the few places in the country that have an opportunity to not only win a conference championship, but to play for a national championship with the support of the administration, the community, the facilities, the ability to recruit those elite athletes, and the culture that Coach Cristobal has created. I'm just really excited to be a part of it and look forward to the challenge of competing at the highest level. So with that, be happy to open with anybody.
All right, first question, James Crepia, the Oregonian.
Tim, what was it about? You touched on a little bit there, but what was it about this specific opportunity compared to, I'm sure you were sought after for numerous opportunities over the last several years while at Cal. What was it about this one? Was it the region and the Pac-12 and the proximity of things that played into it? What were some of the factors that went into ultimately choosing to take this one?
Well, there was actually a few. Probably number one, the driving thing was Coach Cristobal. Really was impressed getting to know him. I didn't know him before. I have some familiarity with some of the guys on the staff, having coached with Ken Wilson and Jim Mastro, knowing the kind of coaches they are, the kind of people they are, the character they are, and how they spoke about Coach Cristobal, the type of program that he demands from everybody that works for him, the players, the student athletes that we're going to coach, the temperature that he sets for everybody. I just knew this place was a little bit different. And then obviously, being in college football, Oregon's one of those brands that is known across the country. When you make calls to coaches or recruits, they're going to pick that phone up. They want to be a part of something that's so special with this community that supports it so well, the administration that supports it so well, our boosters that support it so well. You put all that together with the familiarity I had with those guys. Again, it was just too big of a opportunity for me to pass up.
Next question, AJ Jacobson, Rivals.
Now, Coach, I know you've got, a whole arsenal of different fronts and looks in your playbook, and you've done a lot of 3-4 lately. When you take a look at the Oregon personnel, how do you see what you're going to do, with a base front going forward into this next season?
I don't know that we're going to have a base front. We have different packages. We're probably going to do a lot of similar concepts to what they based out of in the past. In our base package, and we'll have different terminology for it, we're going to have 4-down capability with KT and Mace and those bodies, outside linebackers as stand-up edge guys. We'll have a star position where we'll have a guy as an overhang, someone who can, be a physical guy, play the run, be able to bang receivers, but also be able to run a little bit. So, more of the long safety body types, but that have some cover ability. Typically we'll play with 2 inside linebackers like we've done here in the past. And then that star with 4 other defensive backs will be in our quote base look against 11 personnel, 10 personnel most of the time. But we'll be able to bounce in and out of odd and even fronts and, be able to use the advantages of being in both those fronts to try to give some offense some trouble. Right now, seems like offenses, across the country are having their way with people, and we're going to try to do something to counter that.
Next one, Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
I guess I'm particularly curious what to do with KT. I think you mentioned maybe he'll have him standing a little bit more. Do you see comparisons to Von Miller, a player you obviously coached at back at A&M a while ago?
Well, it's funny you mentioned him. As I was watching him, as we'd see crossover tape, he's probably the first person that I've seen in a while that had that explosiveness like off the edge like Vaughn, the ability to bend, the pass rush value. Really excited about him. We used Vaughn in a joker position, what we called it back then. We will have the flexibility, depending on the package and personnel that we're in, to have him there, but we're going to move him around a bunch. I've already sat down with KT and explained to him, we're probably not going to have him playing a 4-eye at all, but we're going to move him around. On 3rd down, we moved Vaughn from an A gap to a B gap to a C gap. We moved him all around to try to take advantage of matchups. I think, having a special athlete like KT, you can do those kind of things particularly on third downs. But because he's so athletic, when teams try to slide a protection to him and chip him and take him out of a game, we'll also have the ability to run some false pressures where he's actually going to be in coverage, and they'll waste those guys, and we'll be able to use his athleticism in space. So he's somebody that's really, dynamic, unique. I've already talked with Coach Cristobal. I'm not going to be dumb enough to have him in coverage all the time. His major value is rushing the quarterback and putting some fear in those tackles in this league, and we're certainly going to have him do that a bunch.
Julian Minenson, KZI.
All right, where you at, Julian? I'm looking on my checkerboard here.
Hey, Tim, you kind of touched on it with KT there, but your thoughts on this Oregon defense that you're inheriting as a whole right now, because there's some really talented guys on that side of the ball.
Absolutely. I mean, you look up front, particularly in our front seven, you've got some very highly recruited guys, some guys that are elite players nationally. And I'm thrilled to, be able to be a part of these guys' lives and hopefully get them lined up where we are playing as fast as we can possibly play. I don't want to bog them down with a lot of, terminology that they're having to worry about. We're going to have a simple system where we can let their athletic ability, their physicality, and their ability to strike and separate the ball from the ball carriers come out. You can take those talented guys and slow them down, make them play less physical if you overcomplicate things. And we're going to try like hell not to do that and let these guys be able to pin their ears back and get after people.
Ryan Thorburn, register guard.
Hey, Tim, good to virtually meet you. I was just wondering, obviously you bring a lot of defensive coordinator experience, but you are also a head coach at Fresno State. How does that experience kind of help you, evolve as a coordinator and help bring some added stuff to what Mario's looking for from his staff?
Well, two things. I think, being a head coach, I understand how valuable assistants can be, and you understand the assistant role much differently once you've been in that head seat. And so, I can try to hopefully head some things off at the pass that don't have to get to Coach Cristobal. I've told him I will always be a resource. I'm not going to inject my opinion if it's not sought, but, with Coach Moorhead and myself, guys who've been in that chair, there's some unique things about that position that you tend to look at things not from a myopic view, much more globally, so that you can, I think, help the team better. We're constantly having discussions about personnel and who needs to fit where. And as we get down to the crunch of recruiting for this year's class, and as we go forward, there's a lot of discussions that go on taking place that are critical as to, which guys do you take? We live in a world of limited resources. You'd love to take them all, but you can't. And which ones are going to provide the most value? So, I think I can, add to Coach Cristobal, by making recommendations there, and hopefully, he'll lean on me for things. And if he doesn't want my opinion, I'll go worry about the defense. But he's already reached out on a few things, and I'm more than happy to help.
Kevin Wade, 247 Sports.
Hey, Coach. Nice to meet you. You kind of talked about the ability to come to Oregon to recruit national level prospects. Just wanted to ask about your own recruiting philosophy and maybe what you've heard from Ken Wilson and Jim Master about Mario Cristobal's recruiting philosophy as you start this new position.
Well, I think, the critical thing in college football, if you want to play at the elite level, you better have elite level athletes. And Coach Cristobal is all about talent acquisition. And he wants to attack recruiting just like we're going to attack practice, just like we're going to attack the weight room, just like we're going to attack on Saturdays in the fall. And you've got to make it a 365, 24/7 effort in recruiting to get those elite guys. It's always going to come down to relationships. You build those relationships through face-to-face time, so that ultimately the student athletes that we recruit understand that, yes, we want to turn them into tremendous football players, but more importantly than that, we want them to turn into outstanding citizens in our community here and create value for themselves so that not only are they going to be great football players, hopefully be able to play at the next level for a long, long time, but more importantly, to have that value of a degree in that wherewithal to get through hard times, that, you know, all the lessons that football teaches you, the perseverance, the teamwork, the camaraderie, those things that are going to make them have a fulfilling life. Those are the things that I'm anxious to share with our student athletes and our potential student athletes, so that they want to come to a place where they can have everything in life, everything that a Division I college football player, you know, reaches for, as far as, you know, playing for a national championship and playing for conference championships, but also have that life after ball element that ultimately is going to be a sign of, you know, whether they were a success or whether we were successful with them or not.